Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. I am just going to share with you today the past few months and what's been going on in my journals. It's been a crazy couple of months and it's been a while since I've posted, so I figured I would give you all an update. This is my personal size rings. This is my workhorse. And when I say workhorse, I use that loosely because the last few months have been an interesting blend of me really needing this system and then other days not needing it at all. But we'll get into that as we get into this video. I also have my 10-year diary, my journaling Bible, and this A5 6-ring binder. That's basically what currently makes up my whole system. So yeah, I guess I'll pick up where I left off to the best of my ability. If you watched my 2026 lineup video, you'll recognize a couple of these, but their usage has changed a little bit. I have my 10-year diary. Usage has not changed in this one, except for the part where I have not been filling it out as consistently as I would like. I need to figure out a way to be more consistent with this because I really like having this record and having it all in one place, but it's just not happening. So if you have any tips on how to be consistent with a 10-year diary or a 5-year diary, go ahead and comment below because I need some help. Next, I'll give you an update on my A5 notebook. This was being used as long-term collections and reference material. Since then, I have moved that information into my personal rings or into my just filing system that I have. And that seems to do the trick. So I don't really need the A5 for that. But what I have been using this for is basically for my devotional notebook. I have, 4 different sections here. The first section here is basically just some trackers and some spare paper. Sections 1, 2, and 3 I cannot actually show you because they have to do with prayer requests. Section 1 is reserved for my immediate family and myself. So any prayer requests I receive or just think of, I will write in here. So each member of my family has a sheet or a page of their own, and that's where I put things for them. Section 2 is for extended family and close friends, and I do the same thing. Each family unit gets a page, and then as I receive requests, I will write them down so that when it comes time to pray for that family, I know what requests they have. And section number 3 is for ministries or churches that I would like to keep in prayer. I'm on a couple of prayer teams, so I receive the prayer requests that have been given to the church and I pray over those people. The way this works is that I have these, try to do it without actually flashing any information. I have these paper clips, and then once I pray for someone or pray for a page, then I move the paperclip to the next page. So when I have my next prayer session, I'll sit down and I'll know exactly where I'm at in the lineup of people. It's not that serious. I will skip around if I feel led to pray for someone else, or if someone else gives me an urgent prayer request, I'll pray for them. But on the everyday, on the regular, I'm using these paper clips to keep track of who I've prayed for and who needs to be prayed for. This next section is in the weeklies of a D-bound Hobonichi cousin. For my daily prayer, I will just put the name of whoever I'm praying for, and then in the column, I write my prayer. I found that writing down what I'm thinking and writing down my prayers helps me stay focused. And sometimes it is really cool to go back and see the things you've prayed and how those prayers have been answered. Again, I can't show you any filled pages because they have very sensitive information. And then this next section is where I do my scripture writing. I just use the right column to write out my scripture and the left column to write out any thoughts or questions or observations or prayers that come to mind as I'm reading. It's a pretty simple setup, and I really like it. It's very effective when I actually use it. Unfortunately, the last 3 or so months, I have not been consistent in any of my notebooks. And I've not been consistent in studying the Word. I'm working to fix that again because I function so much better when I have spent time in the Word first thing in the morning. I'm sure y'all are the same. Like, even if you don't study the Word, the act of doing something consistently every day, whether it be journaling or praying or studying or whatever, it helps to ground us. And that's exactly what this practice does for me. And I'm very grateful that I have this system, and I look forward to seeing how it will evolve over the next many, many years. Next, I'll mention my journaling Bible. I pulled this back out recently. I was given this in like 2018, and I've used it on and off since then. If you want, I can do a whole video on how I have this set up. But I've found that it's very useful to have my notes with me when I'm doing my study. And it's more personal than a regular study Bible. It's things that I've found throughout my own wanderings through these pages, and it's a lot more precious than, just having some random study Bible. I do have study Bibles and I do use study Bibles, but like I said, it's just different when it's your own handwriting and your own experiences and your own prayers tucked in these pages. If you're curious, this is a Crossway ESV single column journaling Bible. I like it a lot. I don't plan on getting a new one anytime soon. And I look forward to filling this one up more in the years to come. But again, if you're interested in videos about this kind of thing, drop a comment below and let me know. All right, now to the part you were probably clicked on the video for, is my personal size rings. This is the heart of my system. Previously, it was working really, really well for me. And then in April, it kind of dropped off and I stopped being consistent with anything. Partly because life got crazy and partly because I switched up my system unnecessarily, and I think it hurt the way that I function in this book. But yeah, we'll do a flip through and I'll kind of explain some of that as we go. Here I have the Sleepy Nose Club undated freebie, and I just mark off as the days pass. I have written out some of my values. I need to review these and rework them for what my life looks like now as opposed to 6 months ago when I wrote them. I have a call log, which I've not been consistent with. That will be a theme that comes up through all of this, is that I've not been consistent. I have a health tracker. I just have this set up to track a few things, and then I have a notes section for any one-off symptoms or anything that I want to track that isn't part of my regular tracker. Then I have a habit tracker, which again, I've not been consistent with. I have this broken up kind of into physical habits and then like mental or spiritual habits. These first 5 here are physical habits, habits that have to do with taking care of myself. And then these other 4 here have to do with the way I'm renewing my mind and keeping myself focused. This is the other half of that Sleepy Nose Club printable. She has a spot for goals and wins, and I have not filled that out at all, and June is basically over. Here I have a section that is supposed to be used for projects and just notes about anything that I want to be able to reference again. But as you can see, I have none. I'm going to leave the section here so that in the future, hopefully as I get back into being consistent with this system, I can go ahead and have a place to put those. After that is my planning section. This is where I spend most of my time. I have all 12 months in here. Again, these are the Sleepy Notes freebies. These are the dated freebies. I like them a lot. She has space for priorities. She has your month on 2 pages and then an inbox on the back. At the beginning of the year, I was tracking more stuff on these pages, and now it's basically just my schedule. I don't normally have more than 1 or 2 things per day that I need to actually schedule, so this is the perfect amount of space for me. Whatever month I'm on currently will normally have a grocery list slipped in there, and when I have the capacity for it, I will have a meal planning sheet in here, but I think I ran out and have not printed more yet. I made a little divider out of this little cardboard from the Coffee Monsters Co. quarterly subscription pack. And I just slipped that in here to divide my monthly planning section from my dailies. Here's some journaling prompts for the month of June. One of the things I stopped doing in April that I think impacted the way I use my book is that I stopped using journal prompts. So in an effort to start being consistent again, I started using journal prompts again, and it kind of worked, but also kind of didn't. I'm still thinking of ways to change my system so that it works for me today, you know? And then the change I made in April that I think negatively impacted my journaling practice is that I switched to these Franklin Covey compact day on 2 page sheets. I just cut them down so that they fit in my personal size and then re-hole punched them. And while I like the idea of these, I think practically they're not for me. And I need to go back to what I was doing before. I like the layout. I like that we have space for tasks and tracking and your appointment schedule and for notes. Those are all great features, but I think the thing for me that I'm missing is just the act of writing out my own heading. Something about that in my mind helps me get in the zone and get into a mode where I can plan. It's something every single day that's the same, that I sit down and I start. And it's not quite so daunting to open up my book and suddenly I have to make a bunch of decisions about the day. It's I open up my book and I get to play around with my pens a little bit, and then I think about the day. And I think that's something that I'm missing right now. This is today. I've been just tipping in these little, they're not a half sheet, but they're shorter so that I can see the heading across the page. I do like this idea. If I'm ever at a point in my life where these pages are going to work for me, this is a great idea. And that way, if I have anything extra I want to write about, I can go ahead and do that on those extra pages. And it's all together on one day. At the end of my monthlies and dailies, I have a forward planning section. I only have until 2030, but I feel like that's plenty of years ahead to see. There aren't many things I need to be writing down that far in advance. After that, I have just a notes section, or like a note paper section. My kid scribbled on the page, and it's so cute. So that I have extra sheets to use when I need them. This is a variation of different kinds of paper. I think this is printed on Kikuyo business paper. This is a sheet cut from a Hobonichi Cousin page that I did not use. I think more Kikuyo business paper. Some of the pages from Franklin Covey. And then after that, I have notes that I'm keeping section. So these are mainly church notes. But if I have anything else that I'm consistently taking notes on, I'll probably have just a little section in here for each of those. After that, I have kind of a private section where I just keep any information I want to keep with me, but I also want to keep private. I've got a couple folders in here. Health info, I've got some contact info, and then like any passwords that I have trouble remembering or things like that. Anything that needs to be a quick reference, I have right here. And then in the back, I just keep a couple sheets of stickers in this little clip, and then I have a magnet tucked in this pocket, so then this clip magnetizes to it, so it doesn't take any effort to take it in and out, but it also stays put when I close my notebook. That's about it for the update and how my system is working, or in some cases not working. Still brainstorming on how to adjust my system to make it work better for me. If you have any ideas or suggestions, I would love to hear them. And I'd also love to hear about how your systems are going and how your year has gone thus far, as we're like halfway through the year. I hope to be more consistent on YouTube as well, but we will see how it goes. Life doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one.